Hello, friend. Welcome to this week's episode of the Remarkable People Podcast, the Austin Page story. This week, Austin talks to us about being a blackout drunk to hitting rock bottom, still making mistakes going back to that after he was in the hospital and rehab for almost 12 weeks. And then when it finally, the switch flicks, he talks about his life, the daily habits he did to change things in a positive way, the path his life took. And just like always on our show, whether you're a first time listener or been with us all 6 years, he talks about the practical tips of what he did to succeed so you can too. Then at the end of the show, whether you want to be a personal trainer, are a personal trainer and trying to grow your business, or know someone who wants to be a personal trainer and grow their business, he talks to us about the business side of, man, if I could talk to my old self then with what I know now, this is what I do. So there's a wealth of knowledge for people who are or want to be personal trainers that'll help be a catalyst to your career, not just for your financial wealth, but also to be purposeful with your clients and to make a difference in the world that matters. So check out this remarkable episode now.
The Remarkable People Podcast. Check it out. The Remarkable People Podcast. Listen, do, repeat. For life. The Remarkable People Podcast.
Hey, Austin, how are you today?
Doing well, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, it's an honor and a pleasure. I just told our listeners a little bit about you and what to expect in this episode, but straight from your mouth, if they're going to take the time out of their schedule and spend it with us for this next 30 minutes, hour and a half, whatever it is, I don't know yet because we haven't recorded it, but if they're going to share life with us, what do you guarantee them by the end of this episode they will be able to learn and apply to their lives so they're better humans?
Learning what I learned through my own mistakes, which is controlling my controllables, creating a new identity through myself or into myself through daily actionable tasks and habits. So most importantly, building a person you would admire through daily habits.
Nice. And that sounds a lot like our slogan. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Listen, do, repeat for life. Listen to great content from Austin, ladies and gentlemen. Do it, but then repeat it, those daily habits each day, so you can have a great life in this world, but more importantly, in eternity to come. So we're going to get this episode started with our friend Austin right after this short affiliate commercial, and then you will hear from Austin his story and how it'll help you. See you in 60 seconds.
I hear every day about the products y'all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Shop MyPillow.com using promo code REMARKABLE to support this podcast and get up to 80% off your order. Or call 1-800-644-6612 by phone. That's 800-644-6612.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Austin, let's do this. Tell us about your life. What were your beginnings like? Good, bad, ugly, pretty ugly. Everything that happens makes us the men and women we are. Well, we're men, but you know what I mean. And what was your life? What was your life like starting out?
So that point in my life, the flip of the switch moment that sort of happened for me was in my early 20s. Back in 2010. So quite a little bit of time ago, but it's taken this much time to develop the person I am sitting here today. And at that point in time, I was sort of lost, didn't have a purpose, any type of path, direction, or like future sight for myself. And that site that I was living in was short term, living for the weekends, Thursday through Sunday. I look forward to that, look forward to getting drunk, chasing chicks, chasing bad things, nothing that was returning to me, only sabotaging me. And quite frankly, looking for happiness in the same places that I was losing it. And that was thinking I was a rock star during the weekends and thinking I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof, Superman. And it took a night out and then a drunk driving accident, which involved myself, that flipped that switch and realized that things got real quick with the lifestyle I was living.
Yeah. And we kind of jumped into your 20, and that's great.
Yeah.
But in order for us to connect, there's people all over the world, different cultures, different nations. What set you up to that point? Again, were you an only child? Did you have a big family, divorced parents, happy marriage? Like, what was just a quick background of you so people can see what set you up to this point in life?
For sure. No, I was not an only child. I was actually a middle child of a pretty decent sized family. I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And
Nice.
so a decent sized family. My parents were divorced when I was young, probably when I was 3 or 4. I don't really remember it. And I grew up with pretty much my mom raising me. I had a stepfather within my life, and he was a great guy, a great role model, a hard worker. But I don't think I ever felt a fatherly figure out of it. And I'm not sure what a fatherly figure is, quite frankly. I just never really had one. My dad was around, my real dad, but even after the divorce and going over to his house on weekends, I'd only see him once every other maybe week or so, up until I was maybe 13. And then I stopped seeing him at all. I stopped going to his house because I didn't really like my stepmother, the woman that he married. She was an evil bitch, just quite frankly, and still is. But so I don't really see him much anymore. But growing up, had everything that I wanted. Wouldn't say I was above middle class, but a nice middle class family, I guess, like most people, and didn't have to really ask for much. Wasn't, I don't think, entitled. I had to work for many things that I had, but I think that the spiral of events that made me sort of, thinking back, lash out and or go into that chasing excitement, trying to be the popular guy, trying to be something that I truly wasn't happy with, was probably being sent into a private school when I was younger. And so from about 13 years old and on, I was went to public school growing up, elementary school, somewhat of middle school, and then was pulled from middle school as my mother and stepfather decided to move out of town to a smaller, way more rural place. And the school system wasn't that great. And they wanted me to go to private school. So I didn't have any choice in that. I went to this small private school. And when I mean small, K through 12, there was maybe 45, 50 people total. So for people that were my age growing up from 14 to graduating, there might have been 2 or 3 other people around my age.
Yeah, and
that
can either be the best or the worst circumstance. Because if you like the kids, it's awesome. But if you don't like the kids you're with, it stinks. Yeah,
fortunately, well, the crazy thing is I dated pretty much the only girl that was my age in that because it was kind of forced.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody else. And also, I was pretty cool or able to hang out with most everybody. Of course, there's people that you disliked or wouldn't hang around much. But I think once I got to about 11th grade, so I need to reverse that back. I went to that private school from about 13 to 16. My 11th grade year, I begged to go back to public school because I was getting a little older. I just wanted to go back to public school. So I went to public school 11th and 12th grade year down in that rural town. And I hit the ground running once I got back in there. I was like, oh, okay, well, I wanted to be the popular guy. How do you become the popular guy? You throw the parties. You go to the parties. You become the life of the party. At least that was my thought. And I chased after that. And that, I guess, slowly but surely began the habit of chasing after the weekends, worrying about where are we going on Thursday? What are we doing Friday? What are we doing Saturday? And maybe, what are we doing Sunday? And then making it back through the week until then. Went throughout high school like that, and in my college years as well. And in college, it got even worse because most of the time I'd skip class and go drink during the middle of the day. It depends, but was just into some bad lifestyle decisions and habits, and not outside of drinking and chasing and partying. I was getting arrested for speeding and very reckless. Again, I thought I was a rock star. Nothing could touch me. Nothing that bad would ever happen to me. I wouldn't ruin myself. I wouldn't hurt myself, but that was all wrong, especially when you're living like that. You can't expect anything great.
And let me ask you a
So,
question before you go on in your story.
yeah.
Sometimes when people are down this path, their families telling them, hey, you're going the wrong way. Their friends are even saying, hey, you're going the wrong way. Was anybody saying, Austin, wake up? Or was it pretty much you were on autopilot and nobody said a thing?
So my mom, who was around obviously a lot during those times, she obviously knew that I had gotten arrested many times and had to come pick me up. And she would always, punish me, ground me, blah, blah, blah. But I just, again, I just didn't really heed to it at all. And I think also at certain points, I was so much to handle for her going through her own things, splitting up with my stepfather at a certain point during this time, and whatnot, that outside of the little bit of time that she did see me getting caught up, getting in trouble, blah, 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 I was sort of on my own. And not to say that she wasn't in my life and still helping me and being a motherly figure, but I was around 17, 18, I was able to go and do as I pleased because my stepmother and my mom were splitting at that time. And so they were in their own world trying to figure that out. And I would go off and start to do my own things in that meantime. And that meantime was going to find some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess to answer the question, yes, she did get on me about it, but I just, frankly, I guess I didn't care, obviously.
Yeah, I just want to know because sometimes people mask it well, or they're so disconnected that nobody notices a change. So I was wondering
Yeah.
before you went on. So now things are escalating. Take us from that point.
Yeah. So throughout high school, graduated, went to community college. Again, thought I was partying in community college, would skip classes, whatnot, multiple times a week and go hang, go chase parties, day drink, whatever. To events, weekends after weekends, it led to a weekend party on a beach. And I remember showing up to this party, but I don't remember leaving. And showed up, bunch of people on the beach. Couldn't tell you who was there. I just remember a ton of people there, bonfire going on, and just don't remember. Somebody supposedly said they saw me walk away from the party and never saw me again. I hopped in my car, drove about a mile away from home on the way home because I wanted to go get my own bed, I assume, and ran off the road. Once I ran off the road, flipped a couple times, and this isn't from my recollection. This is from like state troopers telling me about the wreck, the scene as they could break it down, is that I spun around a curve, flipped a couple times, landed against a tree. The neighbors that I landed in their yard came to pull me out the car, called 911, so on and so forth. Again, I don't remember the wreck, fortunately. I didn't hurt anybody else. Nobody was with me. I didn't hit anybody, which still doesn't make it any right, but I'm glad that it was that way. It was only me because it was my lesson.
Yeah, that saved you. I mean, you saved somebody's life and it saved you from a ton of pain down the road.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And was sent to the hospital and was almost like in a twilight zone when I got there. Almost seems like a movie, an unreal movie of just seeing bright lights, people around me saying, you've just been in a wreck. I'm sure I was being belligerent because after the fact, nurses and police officers told me how belligerent I was to them. So I wasn't giving them an easy time at all, still, even after flipping my car a couple times. And they realized at this local hospital, I was more than they could handle. So they shipped me off to this bigger hospital in the city of Richmond, where I was sent to, and immediately realized that I had ruptured my intestines. Once I got there through a couple scans, I broke both my legs from the knees down, and they had to open me up from like sternum to pelvic area, wide open, to clean all the guts out, making sure all those contents of my intestines were cleaned out. And the biggest part of that journey was fighting off infection. The broken legs weren't a big deal. Those things heal, bones heal, which I had plenty of screws, plates, and rods in those. But the guts, the intestines, the infection, the peritonitis that came from that ruptured intestine was the biggest fight. And it took weeks to get over that, of ups and downs and uncertainty. They would send the chaplain in daily to talk to my family, saying, hey, if the infection doesn't clear, things might not go the way we want it, and so on and so forth. One day, just woke up, my blood work started to show the fever broke. White blood cell count was going down. Fortunately, this is probably 2 or 3 weeks in, and I was on the mend. So they were able to fix my legs after that, because my legs just stayed in cast, even though they were broken the whole time. They weren't worried about fixing those. They were just trying to keep the infection in my gut down. So then they sent me on to a couple more surgeries for my legs once my stomach started to heal. And I spent a total of 6 weeks in that hospital, from where they sent me from the hospital straight to a rehab center. And I lived in that rehabilitation center for 8 weeks, 2 months. And that's where the seed was sort of planted in me on self-development, self-improvement, and some better habits.
So talk about that, because not everybody has a switch moment. Was it, I'm not trying to be rude to you,
Go
but
ahead.
you're based on what you said, you were belligerent in the hospital. Was
Huge.
that the alcohol talking at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Or when you sobered up, were you still kind of an asshat, and were you being
No.
rude? Like, why am I here? Why do I deserve this? Or did you have an attitude like, wow, I should be here, and I'm thankful it's not worse? Like, what was your state of mind at that point?
Alcohol was the ego talking. Was the dick, the asshat talking. After I sobered up, went to straight bitch, crying, wondering what the hell happened. Being real. Like, I was like, what the hell, and realizing, or not realizing in the moment, that it was all my own doing, but just what was me, which I could assume anybody would probably be a little sad at first, but unsure of my future. And definitely a sobering moment for sure, and a sobering few weeks.
Yeah, and the reason why I
But
wanted
no,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm typically, I assume when I'm that, I don't remember these blackout moments that I had growing up, or my younger days of drinking, but I assumed that I was a dickhead. I was getting beat up, getting into fights, breaking hands, punching stuff, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, yeah. And what I was getting at was, when you're in rehabilitation and then you're saying that something actually connected with you to start, working inside your brain and your heart, the attitude has such a massive role in this.
Yes.
So was there something said, or did someone challenge you? What was that initial catalyst that caught your interest? So you stopped being like, poor me, and why am I here, to, oh, wow, maybe I do need to change. Where did that start?
It's almost like a curve, like an arc. It wasn't like, oh man, a complete 180. Austin's completely a new person, day one in that rehab center. That's where the seed was planted. It didn't sprout until many months or years later, but the initial seed was planted. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Was when I showed up, I was into this rehab center. I was still bedbound. I wasn't able to get on. I wasn't able to sit in a chair. Was still laid back. Wasn't able to put weight on my legs. So every day I would just sit there and watch TV for hours on end, until a therapist would come in and say, hey, we got to build some strength back up. You got to get out of here. We need to get you out of here. You're 20, 21 years old. We got to get you out of here. And they would give me these rubber bands. I would start doing some stuff in my bed. And at first, actually, not at first, the whole time I was there, I did not want to do it. It's the last thing you feel like doing, especially after going through something like that. The last thing I want to do is work out. My self-talk was not great, of course. And nothing, a very negative attitude, of course, leading into this rehab center. The flip was me realizing that I felt a little bit better after I would do something positive for myself. When I would do that workout, when I didn't feel like doing it with those bands, pulling them apart, pressing them from my bed, I'm like, okay, damn, that felt pretty good. It feels better than just sitting here like a vegetable, being woe was me, having a pity party. Would I still fall back into those moments and emotions? Yeah, for sure, daily. But every time I would do something productive like that, push myself, stretch myself personally, I'd feel that much better about myself. And obviously, as strength began to increase with myself and I was able to come weight bearing and get into a wheelchair, my movement, my abilities opened up, right? So the therapist would come in and say, hey, hop in the wheelchair. I'll meet you down at the gym. And before this wreck, I was never working out at all. I wasn't into the gym, nothing. And I would hop in the wheelchair, roll myself down to the gym. And when I was in there, they would lock my wheelchair in place and give me some Gatorade bottles, start curling some Gatorade bottles, press them above my head, starting literally like from ground zero, like crazy and laughable. Now, every day after that, I noticed, okay, I see progress. I feel like I'm actually going to get out of here now, you know? And back then, my goal wasn't to become this person. It was, let me build some strength up so I can get my ass out of this rehab center. You know, I was literally one day at a time. I didn't have a long-term goal back then. It was just, my goal was one day at a time to get a little bit stronger to where I could get out this wheelchair, start walking. Once I start walking, get into some crutches, and then eventually try and leave this place. It sucked. I mean, it was just me with a bunch of old people, dementia and, you know, Alzheimer's, screaming and yelling all night.
That in itself can be quite terrorizing. I remember working as a teenager in a psychiatric care facility for the elderly. And I don't know what I don't really care, but forgive me if I offended somebody, but politically correct, I don't know what the term is, but they were old people and they were crazy. That's it. It wasn't their fault. All reasons they were there. But I remember some of it was just really sad and some of it was freaking terrorizing. Like they thought they were God and they were trying to, you know, get you on their side to make them escape. I mean, there was one guy who had spiders like coming out of his neck. He had this obsession. So when you were in there, was it like intense too? Like, man, I want to get out of here just for that reason, or was it pretty chill environment?
I mean, it was chill when I was in my room, because I was when I was so young. In this rehab center, they gave me my own room, even though everybody else had typically roommates. And when I would leave my room though and go riding in my wheelchair around the center, because I had free access like up and down the halls, to ride to like nurses' stations or to the cafeteria or whatever. I would roll around and some of the older people would reach out and just try and grab you as you're riding by. Like not knowing who I am, me not knowing them, they just reach out and just grab you, like grab your arm or yell at you or scream. So yeah, it was definitely weird and not a comfortable environment once you were outside of your room. So it just wasn't home, you know. Nobody, after a couple of days, you're like, all right, I'm done with this shit. Let's go. Yeah. So that was a big motivating factor to get out of there. But also, there was just realizing that I had put myself so far back and that I wanted to get back to normal life, you know?
Yeah. And
not saying drinking, but back to just getting out and being able to take care of myself. The independence of myself was completely gone in this place.
And was it all physiological focused at this point, or did people start introducing you to the self-development, the personal growth, or was it at this point in the physical, in the PT, it was just physical?
Just physical. But I mean, at least in my own thoughts, I feel like a lot of physical growth is personal growth, right? It's
it'll absolutely be a catalyst. I just meant, were they sitting down an hour a day and you're having like a group study or something? I didn't know.
No, I mean, occasionally a therapist would come in and say, hey, how do you feel? How are you feeling today? But at that point, it is what it is. We didn't really talk into too much depth.
Okay. So now you're in this program, 8 weeks, you said?
Yeah, 2 months.
8 weeks. And then where does your life go from there, Austin?
So I was able to walk out of there with some crutches and realize that things needed to change, because before this, my job status was working the odds and ends, doing irrigation on summers, going and helping with sheetrock on some jobs, going and doing landscaping, you know, all this type of stuff that wasn't really, there's no purpose to it. There's no means to like a goal or a vision with it. It was just giving me some money, some walking around money so I could go party back then. So I realized things needed to change. And once I got out of this job, or excuse me, out of this rehab center, I got a job at a local gym because I had learned that I liked what fitness and or just exercising did for me while I was in that rehab center. So I got a job at a local gym at this small town that I was living in at the time. And it came as a front desk position that had a free gym membership. So that was killer. That's all you needed from me back then. I was like, all right, free gym membership and I'm getting paid a couple bucks. Let's go. So I started working out there, obviously after work or before work. And I still, again, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd just go in and hop on some machines, but I just knew I felt better doing it. I felt more confident in myself. I was building a skill of confidence each time I went and did a workout or an exercise. I was depositing a point of confidence skill into my meter per se. And one day after time, or one day after another, felt more contentment, felt happier. I realized that I wasn't taking back steps, you know, and it takes time to, once you start walking that path, it takes time to start to feel that like conscious, good mood feeling like, okay, this actually feels good wholly, unlike things like the past. And again, there's nothing wrong with drinking or whatever, do whatever you want to do. But like, if you are getting some sense of regret at all after you do something, you should use that as some type of signal or a guide to be like, all right, I didn't feel good doing that. I don't like the way I felt after I did that. Let me try and avoid that or skip it as much as possible. You know, it's like touching a hot stove. But came with a free gym membership, so I worked out a ton, met some trainers, met some people. They taught me a lot about lifting, working out, and months go by. I realized that I wanted to focus on this maybe as a job. So moved up away from this small town back into the city, got a membership at a Gold's Gym and saw trainers there. And I was like, hey, I want to become a trainer. And the guy said, all right, I've seen you around here a little bit. Seems like you know what you're doing. We'll bring you on. We'll give you 60 days to get certified once we bring you on, and we'll keep you on if you can do that within 60 days. They took the shot on me. I got certified within 60 days. Next thing you know, I'm off and running as a personal trainer, as a job, a career now. And that was probably back in 2012, 2013. So 2010 was the wreck. No, yeah, 2010 was the wreck. Took a few years to actually come back to myself through working that desk job at the gym, and then moved back up to Richmond around 2012, 2013, became a coach at a Gold's Gym.
And then at this point, you've stabilized your life. You've kind of cut down at the drinking, or were you drinking at all, or did you completely abstain at that point?
So funny thing is, again, during this process of me leaving that rehab center, you can touch the hot stove a couple times. So I got in trouble again drinking after I left that rehab center, and wasn't in major trouble, but enough to where they put me in handcuffs. And I was released though, after getting stopped by a police officer. But then that was definitely when I talk about regret, waking up that next day, realizing that I was right back on the same path that I was before my wreck. I was like, all right, shit's got to change. And that's literally just a few months later, or not even months, probably a few weeks later, I moved from that place after that event up to Richmond to get away from that environment.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, Austin, you correct me if you disagree, but you can't run from your problems in life. However, changing your environment, if you're not, Austin wasn't running from his problems, but he was being real, it sounds, to be like, okay, I need to move, I need a switch, I need a fresh start, because this environment I'm too comfortable in, and
Yep.
it's going to help me to reset somewhere else. So there's a difference. Make sure you acknowledge that, ladies and gentlemen, between running from your problems, because they're going to catch you and be worse, and starting over. Would you agree with that, Austin?
100%. And that's exactly what it was. After that few months of leaving that rehab center, within a year, I'd gotten back settled into my old ways. You know, I'd forgotten that even though I nearly lost my life, not too short from that, I'd gotten comfortable, fallen back into the same habits, the same weekend after weekend. And it wasn't as bad, but bad enough to where I almost got locked up. And that was definitely the tipping point.
Yeah, and it reminds me of a couple verses in the Bible, and it applies to me, you, everybody. It says, as a dog returneth to his vomit, so doth a fool to his folly. And then
Yep.
there's other passages, Old Testament and New, that talk about how if God frees us from a situation or a sin, and then we go back to it, it gets 7 times to 10 times worse. So
Yeah.
you really, man, that was such a blessing that even though you went back to it, you woke up and then left. Because if
Yeah.
you just took one more day in that lifestyle, it could be a totally different outcome. We wouldn't be talking today.
100%. Where I was at, what I was doing was either going to have me locked up for a good time, a good long time, or dead this time. It was like the same patterns were leading up again, and I noticed that. And it takes awareness to realize that. And back then, my skill of awareness wasn't that strong, but it was enough after nearly losing my life that I was like, oh shit, this is going down the same path.
Yeah, and that's the last question I have. Then we'll move forward. Not the last question I have for the interview, but for right now on this topic, it's like, if I was your friend, I'd be like, dude, your life was spared. God has a purpose for you. What the hell are you doing continuing this way? Was anybody talking to you like that, or was everybody just letting it go?
Yeah. So my mom and parents, stepfather that had heard about this, me getting locked up or arrested that night and almost locked up. Yeah, they reminded me that, hey, dude, you're pretty much like you don't have 9 lives type like a cat. It's time to make a change. And they didn't tell me I needed to move, but they realized that my environment wasn't helping me in my situation. Like, not to say that I couldn't have did it down there, but it was definitely a helping stepping stone to move away from that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So now you go to Gold's Gym, you got certified. Where does your life
Yep.
go from there, Austin?
So I worked with Golds for quite a few years now, and I was working with clients. They would sell clients for me, and I would train them. And I was meeting dozens a week, fresh clients, people that were in different situations, but rock bottom in some aspects. Not everybody, but some people were coming in with failing health, problems with their relationships, about to lose. We get kind of personal talking with some of these clients and about to lose a partner, trying to fix a relationship because they've let themselves go, blah, blah, blah. Everybody has their own story. But working with Golds, which was great at first, it taught me the back end of coaching and how to sort of structure things. But at Golds per se, this is just not a little breakdown of why I split ways, is that they would give you so much as far as like client rate that you weren't able to put or go deep into these people. I would see them once a week, twice a week, maybe. And outside of that, we didn't have contact. Like, I wasn't able to email them, catch up with them, text them. It was like, hey, see you next week type of deal. And, we would make some progress over 6 or 8 weeks, maybe sometimes a little bit longer with some people, depending. But as soon as they would get to a milestone, like I did back in my past, they would fall back into comfort, back into their old ways. And then the next thing you know, the next time I'd see them 4 or 6 weeks from now, they're already back up 20 pounds, or they're already lost that partnership, or typically I wasn't able to dive deep into these people and get truly connected with them. It was very churn and burn, for lack of better terms, with clients.
Yeah, and it's like that in so many worlds now, medical especially.
Yes, yeah,
And you're in a
very relevant.
medical field. So now you're seeing that this is just, a pressure cooker. It's like just run them through the mill, just go. Everybody's gonna make a New Year's resolution, cash in while you can, and then forget about them.
Yeah,
It wasn't human, it was financial. So
yes.
where did you go from there? Like what happened in you that you're like, okay, this isn't right. I'm taking this next step.
So a friend of mine, he was actually a client at this Gold's Gym. He was my client, but became a close friend of mine once we worked together for a couple months. And he's well off. He does well for himself. He's a professional gamer. And he was telling me, he was like, Austin, what are you doing still working there, man? He was like, you could be doing this all on your own. You could be actually diving deeper into these people like you and I have, because me and him had built a closer connection, and that's why he was getting good results and sticking with things. And at first I was a little worry about it. And I was like, I don't know. I've been with them for a couple of years now. They take care of me. They sell all my clients. And but something deep down in me knew that I had more in me, and I was here to actually help people, and not just help them for 6 weeks, but no, actually trying to turn their life around, create a new identity for themselves, building that person, like I mentioned at the beginning, a person they would admire in themselves. So I took the leap and hit the ground running. I got my own private spot, my own private gym, and now I'm able to coach people, and that's what I do now. Currently, I coach people in person and online with my own private app.
Nice, nice. And
Yep.
the apps are a lot to manage, but they can be great for the end user. How long did it take for you to develop the app?
So it's not something that I develop. I actually like rent or lease the software, and it's branded as my own.
Gotcha. And you got your content on it.
Yeah, my
Excellent.
content. Yep, and like my groups within it and stuff like that. And it didn't. When I first took a leap on myself, I just started with what I knew. I was just coaching in person at my gym. But as time went on, and as I was gaining new clientele through word of mouth, through transformations, through social proof, that I realized I could only train but so many hours a day myself. Like you're only scalable but so many hours a day in person. And for me to be able to reach and help more people, and people that weren't able to come see me at my gym that were in the area that had heard about me, I took the leap on this app. And over the past probably year and a half, I have been using this app. So it's still pretty new to me in the grand scheme of my career.
Okay. And then the personal side of Austin, between your birth and today, did we miss anything significant in your story? And then we're going to focus on where are you at today and where are you headed next. So how can we help you get there? So first, between your birth and today in the story, is there anything we missed significant that you want to cover or that would inspire the listeners?
No, not really. Like I said, pretty normal upcoming. Besides my parents splitting up, and just I guess had a wild hair in me when I turned 17, 18.
All right. And then now, are you socially, like drinking wise, you just like abstaining to be safe? Do you drink casually? What's your position on that?
So for a while, and still even currently, I drink not even socially. I say I drink casually with my wife. When I say I drink, like we'll have a glass of wine with dinner, or I'll have a beer on the beach with her or something like that. But we aren't typically going out. We aren't going to dives or bars and typically drinking, like going out for drinks type of deal.
Yeah,
Uh,
no good can come of that in my opinion, but I just want to know, are you a total teetotaler or are you drink like you said with your wife or special
yeah.
occasions?
So yeah, I guess occasions if it speaks to me. Most of the time, what helps keep me, and it sounds like a sobriety aspect or like a recovery thing when I start to talk about it, because I actually work with a lot of people that are in recovery. But it's something that I've just sort of held a standard to myself is I I use fitness and exercise as like an alignment tool to keep me from drinking and going out, like because I get offers all the time. Hey, you want to go out for some drinks? Hey, you want to do this? And it's hard to say no at first. Saying no is a skill, and over time you can develop it. And one thing that helps me say that no that much easier, or no thank you, is knowing that I have goals personally with my fitness, with my health, how I show up, my own brand, like pretty much my own standard, the way I conduct myself, and drinking isn't aligned with that goal. So I try and not do it as much as possible.
Yeah, and that sounds wise in general for every human. Drinking's expensive and there's really not much good that comes from it. But when you
Yep.
have a history, like you said, you drink and black out. Yeah, that's no bueno, man. Best to stay away, right?
Yeah.
Err on the
Yeah.
side of caution. All right. Well, where's Austin today? We kind of talked about that, but where are you today and where are you heading next? How can our listeners get a hold of you? How can we help you?
Well, Austin today is still living in the same area near Richmond, Virginia. I'm obviously married now, like I mentioned, and I met my wife. I would have never met my wife the old version Austin used to be. I was a straight loser. I was not happy with myself, and I would have scared her away. And there's something that I I heard this from a mentor of mine. He's like, "Don't chase, attract." And when he said that, it reminded me of how I've attracted some, not everything, but I believe that you do attract a lot around you from the person that you are, the way you conduct yourself, the way you show up, and your habits, and you'll chase. A lot of people will get lost chasing after something when they aren't at the level it needs to be to attract that thing. And I'm not saying you have to be some like super rich, super jacked, super in shape person, but like there's an alignment or like a universal alignment per se that like most, if you want to get the next level, you have to become the next level. And I'm not saying the ultimate Greek god or this huge rich dude, but like there's levels to it, and you won't be able to move up to that until you actually become it. And I was able to fortunately find this woman who has her head on right, and that loves me dearly, and I love her back. And I think I would have never gotten her unless I changed my new identity and had this new lifestyle. And like, I think I lean into it, a personal brand book for myself, or a guidebook, a way of I conduct myself.
Awesome. So, what's the best way for someone to reach you if they want to check out your app, check out your website, continue the conversation?
Yeah, well, I'm super active on Instagram, at a page man. I'm on there daily, all throughout the day, posting on my stories on daily processes of things that work for me, what works for my clients, and tons of Q&As within my stories as well. And I post quite frequently. That's a page man on Instagram. But if you want to learn more about my coaching or sign up, you can sign up today at www.gymflowcoaching.com. That's GYMFLO, no W, coaching.com.
Awesome. And we'll put all this in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen. So whether you're listening to the podcast, checking it on Rumble, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening, just check out those show notes. You just click a link. All right, Austin. Well, it's been inspirational and great to spend time with you today and hear your story. Before we wrap up this episode, are there any final thoughts or words of encouragement? And then I got one more business question for you in this space that we're going to kind of end the episode with. But any other words of wisdom about just life in general, second chances, wherever you want to go?
Yeah. So there's something that I have on my gym wall, and I also remind my clients, and I have it on the wall for myself to remind myself daily. And it's you're only as good as the example you set. It's not what you're thinking about. It's not what you talk about. It's what you do and how you conduct yourself. And you hear me say that conduction quite a lot, but you're only as good as the example you set, not as you talk or do. And that's something that I try and remind myself daily when I'm trying to cut a corner or skip out.
Awesome. Very nice. Now let's do this, if you don't mind, business wise. There are a lot of people all over the world, especially within the United States, because we're so prosperous, who they would love to be a personal trainer. But like you said, you went through Gold's Gym, you learned the financial side of it, the business side of it, and now you're doing your own thing. You have your app. I'm sure there was 100 landmines you hit. But if you were starting over and say, hey, here's like a quick little roadmap to anybody wanting to be a personal trainer, N, B, C, D, what would you recommend to people?
Now knowing what I know, just start training. When I say start training people, but only if you have the product or results yourself. If you don't have the results yourself, hypothetical is hypocritical. If you don't have it, or at least know how to get it, or have had it before, then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Hypothetical is hypocritical. So as long as you have the results and or some type of product to prove with proof, then start taking action by reaching out to people around you, friends, family. Start somewhere. Start now, not tomorrow. Start today. And you start that by cold DMing people. It's a little awkward at first, but start doing that. Next thing you know, you have a few clients, and yes, you want to be certified. You want to have credentials. You want to know the books. But I think a lot of people get paralysis by analysis and say, oh, I need to get this certification, that certification. No, you just need to start training. Do what you've done to build your results and help others do the same. And then as you either build the confidence, gain the money, gain the time, you'll be able to get certified, blah, blah, blah. But if I went and did it backwards, I would do it that way.
And what about, well, do I need a website? Do I need business cards? How do I get the first client? What ideas and like suggestions do you have about that?
Yeah. So for anybody that's watching this now in 2025, we have this thing called social media, Facebook and Instagram. It's free. And there's millions of people in there. And like I mentioned earlier, cold DMs, do 100 of them a day. It's not the best product that sells. It's the most well-known product that gets sold. So like the more noise you can make with people, the more, and I'm not saying like hey, you want training? Hey, you want training? No, make a friend, make a sale. Get social on social media. Say what's up. Ask them, what are they struggling with? How could you help them? See what they're working on. And then start to give tips, advice. And if they say, oh shit, you actually know what you're talking about, or man, you look like you know what you're talking about. You do any coaching? Yeah, for sure. You could just start coaching for free. If all you have is time, like if you don't have anything else going on outside of your 9 to 5, and you just have a little free time in the evening, then give it away for free until you can start developing the social proof and testimonials to where you can start charging and be like, hey, look at the results I got for Tom over here. If you'd like to do the same, reach out to me. And you can start low and as you move on, you can increase your price and do whatever you feel fits. But I think in today's day and age, it's social media, Instagram and Facebook, DMing, cold DMs.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I'm a marketing guy, and that's what I've done my whole career, sales and marketing, consulting, and doing it firsthand and coaching others to do it. But if you don't have results yourself, there's a real issue, right?
Yeah.
It's like the fat gym teacher in high school. It's like, yeah, you're real motivating, man. And again, they might have been a great athlete and they backslidden, but it's a lot easier to, if I'm going to a financial advisor, I want to see somebody with great wealth. If I
That's
go,
what I was about to say. For
yeah,
somebody that to relate outside of fitness, yeah, you wouldn't take advice from a broke person.
yeah, and you know what's crazy? I was just on this in another podcast episode recently, but our listeners may be familiar with it, but for your and I conversation, when I was in college, I worked full time at a large computer retailer, and 8 out of 10 times a financial advisor would come in, and that's probably a conservative number. They would apply for financing and they wouldn't get it.
Uh,
And these are people who made back then $250,000 a year plus. So that's easily 500,000 a year today. But they
yeah,
were so bad with their own finances that they were basically broke. So
yeah,
it's like that's exactly what Austin's talking about. If you see somebody who's out of shape, now if somebody just went from 400 pounds down to 250, that's somebody you might want to learn from if you want to lose weight. But
yes,
again, even the social media, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen people take that approach and they have terrible form. So you got
yeah,
to be very careful what you put out there. It could actually harm you. If you're 20 years old and putting up a lot of weight, you think that's impressive, but 20 years from now, you're going to be crippled. And I'm not going
yeah,
to let you train me, even if I'm in my 40s. So, what do you
100%.
say? What kind of content do you see works best? Because there's so many options out there. You could just say, hey, here's a health eating tip. Hey, here's a lifting tip. What kind of stuff are you seeing is giving you the most return on investment for your time invested in making clips and videos?
So for me, not everybody's going to be your client. Not everybody, and that's something you just have to realize and accept moving into coaching or with anything. Most likely, not everybody's going to be your customer. Not everybody's going to be for me, and I'm not for everybody. I've had plenty of people quit on me because I'm either I don't coddle enough, I'm too hard, but I want results and I want winning. And if you want that, then I'm your guy. But outside of that, as far as your content, make it about what's worked for you. Don't try and make shit up. Don't try and be very vanilla. I've done plenty of that in my past, and it doesn't get any type of, when I say engagement, nobody either talks about it or brings it up. Um, Typically, just showing what's worked for me, what's helped me, and if you can tell the story about that, of where I came from, a background of not knowing who I was, chasing vices, having bad habits, and how I've corrected my life, and my life has leveled up exponentially now from correcting these habits and just removing a couple bad ones and replacing them with some daily good ones. And if you would like to do the same, I can help put together some type of structure, daily plan of building your days to build you, and offer that as a product or a service. And it's fit into your niche, whatever that is. If you're the guy that lost 250 pounds, that's probably going to be your customer set. Like that's going to be your avatars, people that are severely overweight, because they're going to relate with you the most. It's not going to be some guy that just wants to lose 10 pounds. It might, but you want to focus on, when I'm saying, like, when I say focus around your content and your cold DMs, you don't want to be reaching out to chicks in their 20s. You want to be reaching out to these people that look like they severely need some help, like you did, being 250 pounds overweight. That's going to be your best bet. Are these other people potential? Yes, but they're a lot colder than maybe somebody that is more what you used to be. And it's finding that mirror image of what maybe you used to be. That would probably be your avatar person, especially around your age group. Most of the clients I have are within maybe mid 20s to about late 40s. Typically, I have clients as old as 64, but my bulk of my clients are close to me, and typically, I mean, as over time, it's been spread out. But at first, it was a lot more niche. People that just wanted to get jacked, tan, and juicy, like I did when I was younger. And now it's
Yeah.
developed into more overall just growth, having realizing that your physical fitness and how that relates to and bleeds into everything else that you want to do. It's mindset training, doing things you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, like going for that workout, controlling that food, controlling that wake up time, and controlling what you drink and who you hang out with.
Yeah, that all so affects your life, and they can pull you down so quickly. All that work can be undone fast. So
Yep.
yeah, and I agree. Like, I don't care, ladies and gentlemen, you know me from the last 6 years if you've been listening to this podcast, but men are men and women are women. And I don't think men should be training women and women should be training men because they don't know the body. They don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, grant, you have exceptions, and you can have a woman who can train Navy SEAL men. That's not what I'm saying. But in general, the way a man thinks, works out, reacts, what he needs, he is a man. So he should be
Yeah.
working with a man. And with a woman, she should be working with a woman, especially when you're in the gym and it's so intimate and you're all over each other and you're looking at each other in tight clothes. So for every reason in the world, I personally think men should train with women with women. I think it's a lot more productive. What's your opinion on all that? From what
I typically agree. I do have a few females within my group, but they typically females aren't something I focus on. And like you were sort of already mentioning, I try and find who would look like my old self or who would relate with me when I'm doing this, marketing or these cold DMs and content. I'm not trying to talk to throughout my content, the way I talk, I'm not trying to talk to just like a female or a feminine aspect. I'm talking to the guy, the man, the guy who wants to become something next level. When I do try and talk or create content, that's what I'm having in mind. So, and they're going to relate the most if you're not that you'd waste your time, but to find that client, your client, if you're a guy, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more effective going after guys than it will be the chicks. Because I just agree.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like in business, I have clients all over the world, and I turn down more business than I accept because I want not just to make money. I want to help and do something that has a purpose. And it sounds like that's your heart. You want to help people and help them, like not just physically, but it's going to mentally, emotionally, spiritually convert into a better life for them. So you want to do something with purpose. And you can put more energy and get more results in working with like-minded, similar people than you can if people are on a different side of the spectrum. So, any feminist can hate me, anybody can hate me, but reality is reality. And
it is, man. It is. And, at the end of the day, their results are my results. So like, I want people that are ready to go, like I said, like-minded. And so typically the process very quickly weeds people out that aren't fit for me and I'm not a fit for them. And that's totally fine. I don't get bent up about it anymore.
Yeah, there's over 7 billion people in the world, almost 400 million in America now with all the illegals that came over. We got plenty of business, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. But all right, man. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today, Austin. Ladies and gentlemen, like our slogan says, like Austin said repeatedly today, daily habits. Don't just listen to what he's saying, but do the good parts that apply to you. Repeat them each day so you can have a great life in this world, but more importantly, to come in eternity. So, Austin, thanks again for being with us, brother.
Appreciate the time, David.
Oh, it's been a true pleasure. Friends, share this with your friends and family, and we'll see you in the next episode. Ciao.
The Remarkable People Podcast. Check it out. The Remarkable People Podcast. Listen, do, repeat for life. The Remarkable People Podcast.